Stop thinking stocks or some MLM scam are gonna make you rich. It just doesn't happen that way. In this video, I'm revealing 7 strategies with real life examples that will make you a millionaire. In fact, I used one of these to make over 20 grand in 2 months, and each of these ideas will make you rich. We're talking 7 ways to get rich today on Let's Talk Money. Hey Bowtie Nation, Joseph Hogue with the Let's Talk Money channel. I want to send a special shout out to all you out there in the nation. Thank you for spending a part of your day to be here. If you're not part of that community yet, just click that little red subscribe button. It's free and you'll never miss an episode. Nation, it is possible to get rich, but not with 99% of the strategies you see here on YouTube. There's no magic trick or a cheat code to making money, and you have to go into this knowing what to expect. In fact, the first question you need to ask yourself, which would you rather have? A 10% chance of making $1 million within a year, but also a 1 in 3 chance of losing that money? Or a 70% chance of doing it in 5 years with a much lower likelihood that you lose money? In this video, I'm going to show you 2 strategies and 6 ways to get rich fast. I'll start by explaining those 2 strategies, how they work, and how to pick which is right for you. Then I'll take you step by step into the 6 ways, how they work, risks, and how to use each to become a millionaire. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to reveal a bonus money-making strategy anyone can use, no matter what type of investor you are. So make sure you stick around for that. And now your answer to that earlier question is going to help you decide which strategy you want to use to get rich. Are you someone that doesn't mind the higher risk if it means becoming a millionaire faster? Are you willing to risk all your money in that 1 in 10 shot of hitting that 7-figure payday this year? On the other hand, would you rather a little more certainty? Are you willing to put in the work over that 5 years to become rich if it means you've got a better chance of getting there and less risk? Because your answer here is going to determine which of these strategies and those 6 ways to get rich, which is going to be right for you. I'm going to walk you through each of those strategies now, but the first one is going to focus on leverage, using the money you have to make investments worth 5 or even 20 times your capital. Now understand, I'm not talking about gambling here, but getting a higher return on your investments through that leverage. The other strategy that I'll show you, the slightly longer approach, is less about investing and more about creating assets and those streams of income that will make you rich. And this is the path that I chose about 7 years ago when I started growing my online assets. It's way less risky, and even though it takes a little longer, really does it? Is 5 years really that long to become a millionaire? So watch through these 2 strategies. Think about which is best for your personality. Now that's going to help you pick one of these 7 ways to get rich that I'll show you afterwards. And let's start with that get rich quick strategy, but don't think it's going to be easy or guaranteed. And what's the joke about getting rich trading stocks? How do you make $1 million trading stocks? You start with 2 million and start trading stocks. Okay, we're not going to be talking about trading stocks here, but the ways to get rich using this first strategy will have that element of risk. We'll be using investments that give you at least 5 and 10 times your money leverage. Investments you can flip repeatedly through the year to grow that $10,000 or $20,000 start into millions of dollars. Of course, the risk here is that you lose it all or just get set back with one bad investment. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that you get rich in a year or with no risk. There are plenty of other videos like that on YouTube already. What I will show you is legit investing strategies that allow you to multiply your capital, exactly how to set it up, and how to make those outsized returns. Now, strategy 2 is focused on creating those assets and the income that makes you rich over 5 or even 10 years. I know it sucks to have to wait 5 whole years to get rich, especially when it seems everyone is becoming an instant millionaire these days in Bitcoin or GameStop. Look, I know you want the quick fix, and there are plenty of people out there that are going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you how to get rich risk-free in a year, but let's be real here. You don't get rich quick without either a lot of risk or a lot of work. So here we're going to be building cash flow assets, creating the income that will make you rich. And I'm going to be showing you through real life examples from my own business and other entrepreneurs. Now I want to start on those 7 legit ways to get rich, and we'll do 3 of each of these 2 strategies, 3 different ways for each. Then I'm going to show you that bonus strategy that can do both. But first, I want to throw this out to the community. Which strategy do you think works for you? Are you someone that wants that quick but risky approach, or maybe a little slower but less risky, and why? So scroll down and let me know in the comments below, which strategy do you think is best? Our first way to get rich in that quick but risky strategy is going to be options trading. Options are just another type of investment you can make in stocks. With an option, you get the right to buy or sell shares of a stock for a certain price from now until the option expires. For example, here we have the options for Apple that expire in July of this year, about 5 months from now. And you can see there are options available for every month and even ones as far out as 2 years. Here down the middle, you see the strike price. That's the price that you're locking in for shares of Apple. So with this first row on the left side where it says calls, you can lock in a price of $120 for shares of Apple. You can buy Apple for $120 each, but notice where it says last. That's the price you pay for this option. You're going to pay $22.50 each for the right to buy Apple shares at $120 anytime from now to July. And here's where we see that idea of leverage though. If the actual share price of Apple increases by 10% from $136 each to $150, so a gain of about $14 a share, then that option price is going to go up by about that much as well. Instead of the option being worth the $22.50 for each share that you paid for it, it's now going to be worth $36.50 each. So instead of that 10% gain that you would have gotten in the shares if you had owned those, you got a gain of 62% on that option. Now that's the quick and dirty on options basics, and don't feel bad if you're still a little confused. I created an Options 101 video a few months ago as a step-by-step, including every strategy that I use. So I'll link to that in the video description below so you can check that out. But here I want to highlight one strategy in particular, one that gives you even more leverage on your money to make you rich fast. This is called the call spread. In a call spread, you buy the call options at one strike price, but then also sell the options at a higher strike price. It's a way of reducing the amount you need to invest and getting more leverage on it. So here we are in the Apple options again, and let's say that we buy these call options for the $145 strike price. We can buy those for $9.60 each, and it locks in that share price of $145 for those shares. But then we sell these options at the $150 strike price for $7.93 each. So we're going to be paying that $9.60 for the 145s, and then at the same time collecting the money on the options we sell, that's $7.93 each. So basically the entire investment here is going to cost us just $1.67 per share. And look at what's happening here. The spread between those two options, the difference in those strike prices is $5. That's the max gain on this investment. If shares of Apple rise just 10% by July, this call spread that we bought for $1.67 will be worth $5 each. And that's a 200% return. Invest $10,000 in this call spread, and it could return $30,000 by expiration in July. And here, you really don't even need that 300% return on each of your options trades. The graphic here shows growth of a $10,000 starting investment on 55% to over $1.2 million after 12 turns. Now hold up a minute though. Like all these highly leveraged ways to get rich, I want to make sure you understand the risks. With options, you are risking the entire investment. This isn't like stocks where if shares of Apple fall 10%, you still own those shares. Once those call options expire, if shares of Apple haven't increased, then you're out that money. So you're taking more risk for that much higher return. Our first wealth builder idea though is creating and managing social media accounts. And this is a favorite because it's so easy to make money. Nation, we are in the era of social media. It is big business and anyone can do it. Hell, this guy's a millionaire. These guys are. Even this Yahoo is a millionaire. In fact, in a survey of 3,000 kids ages 8 to 12, 3 in 10 said they wanted to be famous YouTubers more than any other profession. Not teachers, not astronauts, YouTubers. But just like any new business idea, people need help getting started, and that's where you come in creating and selling those social media accounts. And then there's 2 ways you can do this. Creating those generic accounts on Instagram or Facebook. For example, those accounts focused on topics rather than a specific person, and then sharing these kinds of informational posts. Or you can also create custom accounts for people, helping them get started. Honestly, this is something anyone can do in less than 5 or 10 hours a week. You build an account up for a couple of months, and these things can easily sell for thousands of dollars each with enough followers. But now the best part with this strategy is you can pair this with managing social media accounts and make even more money. Creating and growing those social media accounts, you're going to learn exactly what works, and that's worth big money for people just starting out or even established influencers that don't have the time to manage their own accounts. You can charge up to $50 an hour for social media management and even more, creating images to share, engaging with followers, and other posts. You spend half your time managing accounts and the other half creating new accounts. This is a powerful combination because they work together so well. Those new accounts that you're creating are going to get instant momentum by sharing posts on those accounts you manage and really cut down the time it takes to grow. Believe me, anyone can do this. It takes very little from just being on Facebook or Instagram for your own personal profile to knowing what it takes to create and grow and manage this kind of business. Next here in our faster strategy to become a millionaire, investing in penny stocks. And even though you're not getting the same leverage that you can with those option strategies, all you out there in the Bowtie Nation know what kind of massive returns you can get in penny stocks. Shares of Veritone are up 18 times since recommending it last year, from just $2 a share to over $44 each. We were also up fivefold in Telluride just a few months after highlighting the company, and even Fastly, which was already a $2 billion company, is now up 6 times on that investment. These small upstart companies have the power to grow their share price like nothing you're going to find in those mega cap stocks. So I want to show you a few things to watch for when you're investing to make sure you're buying only the best. First, you're going to be looking for companies under $1 billion market cap, and preferably even those under $250 or $300 million market. And it's just the law of large numbers, right? If a small $250 million company can steal some market share, grow those sales, it can easily reach $1.5 or $2 billion market cap, which would be 8 times your investment. But for a $20 billion company to do the same, it's going to have to grow enormously to $160 billion in market cap. You're also looking for strong sales growth, a company growing its revenue by at least 20% a year and preferably more. And here, not only is that the company is growing, but it's really proof that it has some kind of competitive advantage over its peers. And next here, you want to look over the industry research or the company's investor presentation and look for what's called the total addressable market. Now, this is the total market of annual sales available for all the companies selling that product. And here you want to see an addressable market of at least $5 or $10 billion in sales, big enough that even a small company grabbing a small slice of the market can still mean hundreds of millions in sales. Just these 3 factors are going to mean the difference between finding penny stocks that can make you rich and those that are going to be dead money for years. Now, the next way to build wealth could be the hottest business of 2021 and produce multiple streams of income: running a co-working space. Now, these were already becoming popular before the pandemic, but now that companies have seen how well that remote work model works, co-working is going to be huge. Besides the 59 million Americans working independently or as freelancers from home, more than 26 million people worked from home during last year's lockdowns. Companies and employees saw how much easier and cheaper it was to have people work at least part of the time from their home, and this trend isn't going away. But now, as someone that's worked out of his home office for 8 years, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. There are distractions like kids and Bob's Burgers, both equally important. It's a solitary experience, and wearing the same t-shirt gets rank after 23 days. That's where co-working spaces come in, shared office spaces rented out on a daily or a monthly basis to freelance workers. And that idea of multiple streams of income is really how this one makes you rich. To get started, you'll need a large, open floor plan with at least 1,800 square feet. Get the fastest bandwidth internet package offered by your local provider. A good rule of thumb is to have at least 5 megabits per second download speed for each active user at any one time. You'll also need furniture, both individual desks and those long communal tables, and some more comfortable stuff like maybe beanbags and couches. And besides the rent you collect on the space, you can also set up like a small snack bar with coffee, as well as renting out equipment like laptops and software. Now, the budget to get these kinds of things going is going to be as much as 10 grand, so it helps to go in with some partners or investors. Another way to fund this is to get commitments from freelancers ahead of time at a discounted rate. So if you pre-sell enough spots or bring on just 2 or 3 investors, you can easily start this one off with no money on your part. And how much money you charge is going to depend on your city, but the US averages around $300 a month in smaller cities and rents as high as $1,000 in larger metros. The food and beverage sales generally add up to about another $100 each month per member. And monthly operating costs are going to be a couple of $1,000s, but you can see how just having maybe 10 or 20 people using your space and you're clearing 5 grand or more a month. Once you get your co-working space started, it's very low management and you can open up more than one location, staff each with just a couple of people, and you're quickly into that 6-figure income. Our next fast strategy to get rich is one of the most popular: trading futures contracts on anything from oil to currencies and gold. Now, futures are like options in that it's a contract on another investment. You're putting down a small amount now to buy or sell an investment sometime in the future. And just like options, you can get some great leverage on your money with these. Look at these futures for WTI crude oil. Each contract represents 1,000 barrels of oil, which at $57.60 a barrel would mean each futures contract is worth nearly $60,000 worth of crude. That's the notational value you see on the right here. But then look at this initial margin box on the right. That's how much you need to put down for each contract, just over $10,000, so less than a fifth of what this is actually worth. Here you're getting 5 times leverage on your money, and in futures contracts, you can get as much as 10 or 20 times leverage. On 10 times leverage, any change in that asset value is worth 10 times your return. So this 1.3% change in the value of crude oil on that one day, that change would be worth 13% gain to your portfolio. And you can buy or sell futures on everything from metals like gold and silver to oil and gasoline, currencies, treasury bonds, even agricultural commodities like wheat, corn, and live cattle. Now, futures aren't for the faint of heart. Unlike options where you can only lose how much you've got invested, in futures trading, you can lose much more. So that 5% gain that can double your money on that 20-to-1 leverage, it can also wipe you out completely, or even worse. Here it really helps to focus on a particular segment, either energy or metals or agricultural, and even then to focus on one particular part of that market, like oil or gasoline. You want to learn everything you can about that commodity, its supply and demand, so you can make your futures trades on that smart analysis. This next moneymaker we've talked about before on the channel, but the idea has boomed over the past year. Organizing virtual conferences. More than 251 million people attended a conference or a summit in 2019, and it's a $325 billion industry in the US alone. But just like that co-working idea, online conferences were already trending before last year, but the lockdowns brought them into the mainstream. Virtual events were up 1,000% in just the first half of last year, and millions are going online for meetings and conferences. You can do everything virtually that you can at a live conference. You invite experts to give maybe 20 or 40-minute presentations, you record panel discussions, and you can present these live on that first day to include questions and answer sessions. And then you can sell different levels of tickets to these. You've got one price to attend those live recordings and the Q&A for the summit, and you can use Zoom or another video conferencing platform to manage all of this. Then you're going to sell another level of tickets for access to the recorded summit. So maybe people that couldn't watch live or that want that recorded version, you sell all this as a video course on Teachable. And beyond those ticket sales, you can also sell sponsorships to companies for brief promos during the presentations and mentions on social media. Now, I've participated in 2 of these as a speaker, and they make so much money. Honestly, even a small virtual conference can easily make $10,000 for the organizer, and that's profit after paying affiliates and speakers. I did another video on the step-by-step to setting this up, so I'm going to link to that in the video description below to give you everything you need to get started. For our bonus idea, I'm combining 2 of my favorite investing ideas, real estate and the stock market. You can borrow up to 35% of your portfolio's value on platforms like M1 Finance for as low as 2% annual interest. And technically, you can borrow that money for anything. There's no paperwork. But I love this idea of borrowing to invest in rental property because the return you make is going to be so much higher than that interest. Now, you can borrow against your investment portfolio on most sites. I like M1 here because the interest rate is so much lower, and the idea here is that you can still use one of these investing strategies like options or penny stocks to get rich, but you're also leveraging your money to start growing that real estate portfolio. The average cap rate for rental property, now that's the annual cash flow from rents divided by the purchase price, is from 6 to 10%, and that's after expenses. Even with financing on the property, you can make enough that the renters are paying off your mortgage and the interest on your portfolio loan. That means you're easily making between 7 to 9% on that rental property, including appreciation, along with the potential to make 20 or 30% or more a year on your stock portfolio. Click on the video to the right for the 5 best passive income ideas, 5 ways to make money with little or no work. Don't forget to join the Let's Talk Money community by tapping that subscribe button and clicking the bell notification.